the other interpreter get logged on?
I'm just checking because I don't see them and I've just sent them a
Yeah.
message. You can go ahead.
Everybody.
Um,
Okay,
and
thanks.
they said that they're trying.
So
Okay,
did
thanks.
everybody not see
Go
the
ahead
whole video
after.
and stuff? What
Yes,
are
so
the,
I think we have folks joining us now, and I just wanted to share some apologies. We were having some technical difficulty when we launched the workshop 10 minutes ago. Somehow it booted all our attendees out. So we are starting again from scratch, and my apologies, everybody, for the wait, but we're so glad that you're here with us now. Um, Hello. So yes, you can see there's a chat there where you can ask questions and a Q&A box. And so yes, again, my apologies for the delay, but we're going to get started again here in just one moment. Okay, thank you, everybody. So welcome, and thanks again for joining us for today's session. So before we begin, we're meeting here on a virtual platform, but I'd like to take a moment to recognize the importance of the land on which we are each located. We acknowledge the territory to reaffirm our commitment and responsibility in building positive relationships between nations and in developing a deep understanding of Indigenous peoples and their cultures. Today, I'm joining you from unceded Algonquin Anishinaabe territory. We invite you to take a moment to reflect on the territory that you are joining us from. And if you'd like, you could share that acknowledgement in the chat. Here at MediaSmarts, we strive to ground our work in care and reciprocity, and this includes being in a constant state of learning, especially when it comes to understanding the digital well-being and experiences of Indigenous peoples and communities across Canada. Thank you. So welcome everyone, and thank you for joining us for today's session. My name is Trisha Grant, and I'm the Director of Marketing and Communications at MediaSmarts. I'm also here speaking on behalf of Get Cyber Safe, the Government of Canada's public awareness campaign to help Canadians stay safe online. They're our partner on this event today. October is Cyber Month, and next week is our annual Media Literacy Week event, so we've come together to share these workshops. We're also really proud to be partnering with the Canadian Network for the Prevention of Elder Abuse and Elder Abuse Prevention Ontario on these workshops. Together, we're helping Canadians of all ages and backgrounds build the digital skills and confidence needed to stay secure online. So today, we're going to walk through some practical ways that we can all strengthen our online safety. But before we get started, we're going to warm up by sharing a fun video from the Get Cyber Safe team.
When I look back now, I start to reflect the things I did right to keep my online life in check. The risk I dodged, the hacks I outsmarted. It all began the day I got cyber safe hearted. Secured my accounts, all my devices too. Automatic updates, the least that I could do. Firewalls and vigilance, artificial intelligence with new AI threats. There's no precedence. Get cyber safe now for future you. Spotted scams with a sharper view. Phishing emails I saw right through. No data stolen, no identity miss. I click with caution and I always second guess. I always second guess. Now that I'm older, I'm proud of my past. My good cybersecurity habits really did last. Use strong passphrases, all you need to. Turn on multi-step just like the cyber pros do. Use the VPN on public Wi-Fi. Ignore the fake news that caught my eye. Backed up my files, kept my software clean. Now I'm living the digital dream. It's all safe now for future you. Spot to lock my world away. But with backup saved, I was okay. I didn't gatekeep, I shared what I knew. Help friends and family on level up too. So thank you, me, for thinking ahead, for learning the risks, for doing what's said. You kept us safe, our future bright. We got cyber safe and we got it so right.
Great. Thank you so much. Get cyber safe. Such a fun video. So now I'm going to turn it over to Benedict from the Canadian Network for the Prevention of Elder Abuse to say a few words.
Thank you so much, Tricia. Welcome, everyone. I love that if you're attending all of our webinars for the next, this week and next week, you'll know the video part. This is how we learn. So I'm connecting today from the unceded and ancestral territory of the Coast Salish peoples, which are the territories of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh nations, which you would know today as Vancouver, BC, so on the West Coast. And I'm very happy to represent CNPA, the Canadian Network for the Prevention of Elder Abuse. If you have never, done a webinar with us or encountered us, we are a national organization that is working towards a coordinated approach across the country to prevent elder abuse and neglect. And so that means building awareness, building support, and building capacity for all of us across services, across organizations, but also public education in our communities. So we do this with the development of resources by hosting many webinars in collaboration with many great organizations and services like today. And really our big vision, our goal is a country where all of older adults have the support that they need to thrive in their communities and to live free from violence and neglect. So it's a really great joy to be here today with you to talk a little bit more about cyber safety and security, because existing online is a very big part of our modern world, and this is how you can feel like you can participate and feel included in, a lot of activities in our world today. So thank you for joining us. And I guess, Rayanne, if you want to say a word.
Thank you, Benedict. I just also want to thank MediaSmarts and Get Cyber Safe for inviting Elder Abuse Prevention Ontario as a partner in this webinar series to bring attention to Cybersecurity Awareness Month and giving individuals the tools and resources to navigate the online digital world, because we know it's changing at a rapid rate, and even I find myself sometimes trying to keep up. So having learn the new tips and how we can prevent ourselves from being victimized from some of these cyber crimes that are happening is really an honor to be involved in this, and we continue to do that work. So I am the Director of Strategic Partnerships with Elder Abuse Prevention Ontario, and we are the provincial organization that recognizes the leadership in elder abuse prevention in the province. So we take a lead in providing education to older adults in the community. We do training to frontline providers around recognizing the risks and knowing how to intervene when situations may arise. And we develop a lot of resources and information that are publicly available to increase people's knowledge and understanding of how to deal with these complex issues of elder abuse. Our organization, similar to Benedict, really works towards making sure that all Ontarians are living free from ageism, abuse, and where their human rights are advanced, protected, and respected. So we welcome this opportunity to continue to do that work. We host many webinars in collaboration with our community partners, including CNPA and others. So please visit our website at eapon.ca. You can sign up for our newsletter to receive updates of our webinars. We have many coming up between now and the end of the year. So thank you again to our partners for inviting us, and hopefully everyone will learn a lot of new tips today through this session. So thank you.
Thank you, Rayanne and Benedict. And now it's my pleasure to introduce today's presenter, Jennifer Casa-Todd. Jennifer is an award-winning educator, keynote speaker, and author specializing in digital citizenship and media literacy, and an expert speaker for MediaSmarts. Jennifer's passionate about amplifying student voice and showing teachers, parents, and students how they can use technology positively and productively to make a difference in the world. Over to you, Jennifer.
Thank you. And hi, everyone. I realize that we're starting a little bit later. So if you need to leave, please know that this webinar is being recorded and that you are welcome to leave when you need to leave and then see the recording. If you were with us last week, welcome back. And if you're here for the first time today, welcome. Can you see my screen okay? Perfect. All right. So welcome to our session on navigating online privacy. This is a workshop designed to teach advanced skills in managing your privacy and protecting your devices. There will be questions at the end, but if you do have questions that you want to put in the chat so you don't forget, I invite you to just do that. Before we get started, I invite you to use your phone. What you would do is just scan that QR code in order to fill out our survey. This is an opportunity to provide feedback on this workshop to the team at MediaSmarts who developed it. Surveys are designed to evaluate and improve MediaSmarts workshops and digital media literacy programming. And we just invite you to take 5 minutes to complete the survey. All your answers are anonymous. The aim is to evaluate the workshop, not you, the participants, of course. It's perfectly fine if you're unsure how to answer certain questions or you don't feel like you have the skills being asked about the survey. And if you could just indicate in the chat that you are done, then I know that we can move along. Okay, some of you are fast. My goodness, that's great. I'm just going to give the rest of our friends a minute who aren't as speedy as you. That's awesome. You're welcome to sing that tune of that song we listened to together while we're waiting. And thank you. Last week's presentation, if you want to pull it up and you didn't see it, you're welcome to pull that up so that you can refer to it. All right, I think we're going to move on, if that's okay. It looks like a few of you are done. I'm not sure about the rest of you. So I'd like you to think for a minute about what you're hoping to learn in this workshop. You don't have to answer out loud. Just think about what are some of the things you would like to share on the internet? What are some of the things that you would like to keep private? And what are some of the things you would like to have more control of? So in this session, we are going to focus on the following skills, and you'll be able to practice some of them as well. How to keep your accounts and devices secure, how to find a device like a phone that's missing, how to keep your personal life secure online, how to find and delete spyware on your phone. Okay, as I said, please find the chat. So if you have a burning question that we don't get to, we'll be able to address your questions at the end. So last week, if you were with us, we covered lots of basics in the Explore Online Privacy workshop. Today, we're going to dig a little deeper into how to keep your accounts and devices secured. And as I said, if you haven't attended the workshop, there is a link to the presentation in the chat. And we'll try to keep you caught up on anything that you maybe missed or you don't already know. Last week, we talked about making a good password in the Explore Online Safety workshop. But another tool that you could use to keep your accounts even more secure beyond having a good password is two-factor authentication. So as well as entering your password, if you have two-factor authentication turned on, you also will get a text or email, a text sent to your phone or an email with a one-time code. And you need to enter that code as well as your password to log on to something. This is great news because it means that somebody who gets your password can't get to your accounts. The drawback, however, is that you can get locked out of your accounts if you lose your phone, and it doesn't help if your phone is your main way of getting online. You can also set some social networks to let you know if a new device logs into the account. And this is anything. So in Facebook, you would go to Settings and Privacy, and you would click on the Accounts Center in the left-hand bar. Then you would click on Get Alerts about Unrecognized Logins, and that will let you know if anybody logs into your account from a new device. And literally almost every platform allows you to do that. My kids are constantly logging in from their Netflix, wherever they are, and I'm getting a new login. If you get an alert and it wasn't you that logged in, then be sure to change your password right away. Most online services, like social networks and streaming services, also let you log out of every device that you're logged in on, which is a really good idea. If you have trouble finding this option, just do a quick search for sign out of all computers and the network you want to log out of. So for example, sign out of all computers, WhatsApp, and it'll show you how to do it because each one is unique. It's not a bad idea to do this now and again, just in case you've forgotten somewhere that you're logged in. We talked a little bit about public Wi-Fi last week, but think about how often we use public Wi-Fi in places like libraries or coffee shops, and how important it is to know that public Wi-Fi is less secure than your home network. So networks that don't make you enter a password are especially risky because anyone can connect to them. This means that people with the right programs can see what you're sending to the router, including your login and password and things like your credit card information. And again, a router is what sends an internet signal to a device with Wi-Fi. A Wi-Fi network is more secure if you have to enter a password to connect to it, but you are still sharing it with anyone else who might be connected. That means that anyone else who's also connected to that network can potentially access anything that you might be sharing in that network. There are things that you can do to make using a public Wi-Fi safer. First of all, make sure that you're using a network that you trust. You can give your network any name you want. So people sometimes set up fake ones called things like public library or Starbucks Wi-Fi just to spy on people or install malware on their computers. So double check that you're actually connecting to the right network. Secondly, never do anything requiring financial or personal information like online shopping or checking your bank account when you are on a public network. Even on a secure network, there's a chance that somebody might be able to see what you are sending. And finally, you want to stick to secure sites as much as possible. Those are the ones with, and I think we mentioned it last week, the padlock in the address bar and a web address that starts with HTTPS instead of just HTTP. If you're using an iPhone or an iPad, you can turn on automatic HTTPS upgrade by going into the advanced settings in Safari. Keep in mind, though, that having an HTTPS address doesn't necessarily mean the site itself is trustworthy, just that nobody else can see what you send them. And so just a couple of definitions on your screen right now. Malware are programs that make your device do things you don't want it to do. And extensions are programs that add features to your browser. So you might have a Chrome extension or the equivalent of the Microsoft extension. If you have to send important information and you're on a public computer, try to use one that is connected with a network cable, like a desktop computer, instead of one that uses Wi-Fi. And you can typically find these in your local library. Make sure that you do it in an incognito or private browsing mode, so the computer doesn't remember anything you typed or the websites that you visited. So on most browsers, you would open this mode by clicking a button on the top right hand and then choosing New Private Window or New Incognito Window. And if you're on Chrome, it'll be in the three dots where you will find New Incognito Window. And just like you shouldn't connect to networks you don't know are trustworthy, never use a USB stick or memory card unless you bought it yourself or you know you can trust the person who gave it to you. These can easily spread malware from one computer to another. And sometimes people even leave infected memory sticks where people can find them just to spread malware. So we want to be careful about that. You should also make sure that you have something called anti-malware software running. So Windows machines come with a free built-in program called Windows Defender. Make sure that it's turned on and that no other anti-malware program is running. Because sometimes if you have more than one program running, it actually gets in each other's way. For Macs and mobile devices, you want to install reliable tools like Malwarebytes or AVG. These are free rather, but sometimes they try to get you to buy extra services. The main services are usually just fine. The companies that make programs frequently find and fix security problems in them. That's why it's important to set them to update automatically. That's especially true of your browsers, since that's what you send most personal information and operating systems such as Windows or iOS on. That also means that it's risky to use pirated versions of OSs like Windows or programs like Microsoft Office because you won't get these updates. If you need to use programs like Word or Excel, but there's a cost involved and you can't afford them, there is a free and legal alternative called LibreOffice. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. It doesn't exactly look like Microsoft Office, but you can read and save files in the same formats. And that means you can read a Word file in LibreOffice and save your files in a format that someone else can read with Microsoft Word. It's a great alternative. A lot of websites also will give you the option to log in with your Facebook or Twitter account instead of creating a new account to use them. And although it seems like a fast and convenient way to log in, it also lets those websites see everything that's in your account, especially Facebook, your friends, what posts you've liked, and so on. So it's not really worth it. It generally is worth it to use your email, create a password like we talked about last week. Finally, there are a few features of your devices that you should turn off when you're not using them. So Bluetooth lets different devices connect wirelessly, and that's so useful for connecting to things like speakers or earphones, but it's also possible for other people to connect to your devices if it's turned on. Some devices let you turn Bluetooth on and off just by tapping on the Bluetooth icon. On others, you need to go to settings and turn it off or on there. And one of the things I learned when I prepared for this was that if I want to use my Apple Watch capability, it uses Bluetooth. Apple devices also have a feature called AirDrop that lets people share files between devices. So people can use this to put unwanted photos or other things on your device if you have it turned on. I worked in a high school. I cannot begin to tell you how many photos students sent me to my phone because I did not turn that off. So to stop from people sending you things on AirDrop, you go to your settings, then you go to General, and then you tap on AirDrop. Then you'll see what the current setting is. If you want to control who can airdrop things to you on your device, you're going to set it to either contacts only, so that only people you've pre-approved can send you things, or just to receiving off. And that works really, really well. And if you do need to receive something from someone, you can go everyone for 10 minutes. So it will allow anyone to send you something, after which it will switch back to contacts only. GPS is another feature that you should probably turn off when you're not using it. It can be obviously so useful when you need to know where you are, but it can also send that information to websites or some of the apps that you're using. So to do this on an Android device, you would go to Settings, scroll down to Location, tap it, and then switch the toggle to off, as in the screenshot there. To turn off location on an iPhone or an iPad, you would go to Settings and then tap Privacy. And then tap Location Services slider to turn off. Here's the thing. No matter how careful we are to secure our accounts and devices, there is always a chance that something can go wrong. But the good news is that most of the time, it's very possible to fix things. So here are a few signs that you might have a problem with your device or your accounts. So if people get messages that you didn't send, if you frequently don't get messages that other people say they sent you, if you can't log on to one or more of your accounts, or if your device seems to be unusually slow. As well, if you get a notice about a login or a password change request that you don't remember or you don't think you did, it probably means that somebody has tried to get into one of your accounts. So, if you think that somebody might have accessed your device or one of your accounts or may have tried to, this is what you should do. Firstly, do not send anything personal or sensitive until the problem has been fixed. Next, you want to make sure that all of your accounts are logged out on every device that you use. Tedious, but important. Then you want to change all of your passwords. Remember, your email password should be totally separate from all of your other ones. And finally, you want to run any anti-malware software that you have. If you've been locked out of your device or any of your accounts, you may be able to get help from the company. So long as you can show that you are who you say you are, they should be able to put you back into control. Okay, so what about a missing device? There are ways to find your devices if they're lost or stolen. To start, you would go on Settings and then your device's name and then Find My. You would sign in with your Apple ID, and if you don't know yours, you can tap Don't Have an Apple ID or Forgot It and then follow the instructions. Then you would go Find My iPhone or iPad, and it will let you see where a device is when it's turned on. If you put Find My Network, it will let you see it even when it's turned off, which is very useful. Next, you're going to go to the Settings, Privacy and Security, and then Location Services, and make sure that you have given Find My access to your location. Keep in mind that this might allow other people who know your Apple ID and password to know your device's location, and you kind of have to decide whether knowing where your device is worries you more than somebody else knowing where you are. If the Find My settings have been enabled on your device before you lose it, it is possible to locate it. To find your device, you're going to open iCloud.com on any browser. You can click on Find My iPhone and enter your Apple ID and password. You'll see a map with your device's location on it. If you have another iPhone or iPad, you can also find my app. The icon looks like this, and you would do the same thing. And interestingly, if you can help a friend find a phone, just Google how to do that, but it works almost in the exact same way. You can also set up apps like Lookout and Pray, which allow you to track, lock, and wipe your devices if they're lost. Like lots of apps, the basic versions are free, but some features will cost you extra. Unfortunately, you can only find Android devices if you have the GPS turned on. You'll have to decide whether it's more important to keep your privacy or be able to find your phone. If GPS is turned on and Find My Device is turned on in settings, you can find it by going to android.com/find and signing in with your Google account. As well as showing you where it is on the map, you can actually lock the device or erase it right from there. So what we're going to do now is a quick quiz to see that you understood everything that we just talked about. So I invite you to find the chat. I'm going to share a question and just put either number 1, number 2, number 3, or number 4, depending on what you think it is. And don't be embarrassed. We're all just, this is just a review. So if you choose not to use the chat, that's your choice too. Just make mental note of what you think the answer is. All right, so question number 1. Why does two-factor authentication make your accounts more secure? Is it 1, you need 2 different passwords to log in? 2, you need a code sent to another device to log in? 3, you get sent a new password every 2 days? Or 4, your password has to be made up of both letters and numbers? I see all the 2s coming in. Awesome. With two-factor authentication, a code is sent to another device each time anyone enters your password, and nobody can get in with that code. So it is a good idea for your password to be a mix of letters and numbers and other characters, but you definitely don't need to change your password every 2 days. Imagine. Okay, next question. Are we ready? What should you never do on public Wi-Fi? Watch videos, number 1, download pictures, 2, send bank or credit card information, 3, or use social networks like Facebook or Instagram. Oh, I feel like this is too easy, friends. Absolutely. It's number 3. It's usually safe to do most things on public Wi-Fi, but please don't send bank or credit card information. And that unfortunately means you can't online shop either. It's okay. My husband's happy about that. The next question, how many anti-malware programs should you run? Number 1, none. Number 2, 1. Number 3, 2. Number 4, as many as possible. Okay, so here we have a couple of different answers, which is great. The answer is actually 1. So you do need an anti-malware program, but it is best to just use 1 because more than 1 will actually get in each other's way. So good job if you picked 2, and that's the answer if you didn't. Next question, what is a sign that something might be wrong with your device or one of your accounts? 1, people get messages you didn't send. 2, you can't log into your accounts. 3, your device is unusually slow. Or 4, all of those. And you got it. It's 4. Those are all the signs that you might have a problem with your account or device and need help. So I invite you after this webinar to try one of these, to set up two-factor authentication, to set up a login alert on one of your social networks, to turn off Bluetooth, GPS, or AirDrop and see what that looks like, and to find your device. Of course, privacy and security aren't just about devices and accounts. A lot of our personal lives are online these days, and it's important to keep those secure as well. So we're actually going to talk about online dating tips. These are tips for protecting your information when online dating. It's never too early in a relationship to start thinking about safety. So if you are using an online dating app, which is very typical nowadays, use a free webmail service like Gmail or Outlook to create a new email address and use that to register your on the app instead of your personal Gmail. You can also make a disposable email address at something like sharklasers.com or protomail.com. Both of these are good options for keeping your email address private when dating online. And it's a good idea to keep it separate from your main email address so you can keep things private. Next, you want to take a look at the dating app's privacy policy and the terms of service. You don't always have to read the whole thing, but you should see whether you can totally delete your photos and other things you've posted after you close your account. So once you make a connection with someone, don't share personal information, especially things that could be used to find you in real life, like an address or a telephone number, until you're totally comfortable with sharing that information. Sweetheart scams, where people ask you for money to help them leave their country or deal with other trouble, are very common among dating sites. So never send money to anyone that you have met on a dating site or app, no matter how good looking they seem. If you decide to meet someone you met on an app in person, have the first meeting in a public place and tell a friend or family member that where you're going. You can ask them to check in on you partway through, too, to give you an excuse to leave if things are not going well. It's also worth checking out what safety tools have been built into the dating site or app that you're using. So how do you report something like harassment or being sent unwanted photos? How can you block someone if you need to? It's important to trust your instincts when you're starting a relationship online. And if someone is pressuring you or being aggressive about meeting in person, asking for photos, or getting angry if you don't respond to their messages, block them right away. It's definitely a red flag. We're going to talk about sexting. And sexting means sending naked or sexy photos of yourself to someone else. And that could be part of a healthy relationship. But as we know, it could also be very risky. So we would never send a sext unless someone has clearly invited us. They clearly told you they want to see it. If you do send a sext, remember that there is no way to keep people from making copies of things online. Even if you use an app like Snapchat that supposedly disappears in 24 hours, it just doesn't happen. Don't include your face or distinctive tattoos or anything else that can be used to identify you. If you get a sext that you didn't ask for, you may want to block the sender right away. And we are going to look at how to do this in the Explore Online Privacy Workshop. If you have an Apple device, make sure you turn off AirDrop. If you got a sext that you did not ask for, don't share it or don't show it to anyone without the permission of the person in it. And do not ever pressure someone to send you a sext if they don't want to. If someone shared a sext of you without your permission, there are things that you can do about it. First, and most important, save the evidence. So if it's been posted in a public space, get a screenshot. If you heard from someone that they saw it, get them on record. You can ask the person to stop sharing it or take it down. Even if they say no or don't answer, keep a record of the texts or emails so that you can demonstrate that it was shared without your consent. If it was shared somewhere like a social network or a website, email the site and ask them to take it down. Make sure that you say that the photo violates the terms of service, because nearly all sites have rules against posting sexual content without the sender's permission. If you took the photo, you own the copyright to it, so you can ask to have it taken down on that basis as well. In Canada, it is against the law to share intimate images of someone without their permission, no matter how old they are. And a judge can order the photos taken down and lay criminal charges against the person who shared them. You'll want to be prepared before you go to the police for this step. There is a worksheet called Help. Someone posted a sext without my consent. And then the YWCA has a guide on sexual image-based abuse as well for more tips. If you want to have your image taken down, but don't want to go through the police, you can actually go to the Justice of the Peace at a courthouse or have a lawyer handle it for you. Some cities have legal aid clinics that will help with cases like this for free or for a reduced fee. Our online lives are a part of how relationships end too. Even if things are still cool between you, it's always a good idea to change your passwords when you break up with someone. Even if you don't remember ever sharing any passwords with them, you should assume that they know them. Change the security questions that you use when you forget your passwords too, because these are usually taken from things that a partner might have learned while you were dating or while you were together. So your first pet's name, for example, your maiden name. So play it safe and switch to some new security questions. Another good precaution is to make backups of photos, files, and anything else that might be important to you. You can back them up to a cloud service like Google Drive, to a USB drive, or both. If things aren't that cool and you're looking for support in getting out of a relationship, use the things we've covered in this workshop, like using a secure HTTPS site to keep your searches private, and there will be more on this later. Double check to make sure your device doesn't have any stalkerware programs that tell someone else where you are or what you are doing. So we're going to take a look at how to do that. On an iPhone, you're going to swipe right on the home screen until you see the app library. Then you're going to tap the search bar at the top of the screen, then scroll through the list of apps and remove anything that you don't recognize. On an Android device, you're going to go to Settings, Apps, See All Apps, or Search for Apps. And again, anything that you don't recognize, you would get rid of. There are also apps that you can use like Certo and Incognito that will scan your devices for spyware, but you should know that there's always a chance that spyware may still be on your phone. If you have an iPhone, you can also turn on lockdown mode, which isn't extreme, but you may need extreme depending on the situation. It protects you from most kinds of spyware. It does limit how much you can use apps like FaceTime and Safari. In order to turn lockdown mode on, you would go to Settings, then Privacy and Security, and then you would toggle lockdown mode to on. If you've done that and you still think that your ex-partner may be tracking you, you may have to wipe your phone completely. Again, extreme scenario. On an Android phone, you would go to your settings, then backup and reset, then factory data reset. And this actually will delete or erase everything you've saved on the phone and every app that's been downloaded onto it. Before you do that, you want to write down all your important contacts, like phone numbers, email addresses of close friends, and put them on a piece of paper and keep them in a secure place. If you use your email address for two-factor authentication, you will actually need to reinstall your email app and log in again. On an iPhone or an iPad, you're going to tap Settings, then General, then Reset. And we're going to tap Erase All Content and Settings and enter your Apple passcode or ID. Whatever kind of device you use, remember not to restore from a saved backup or iCloud service after you reset it, because that could reinstall whatever spyware might have been on there. All right, are we ready for a quiz? And before we do that, Barb, your comment about you would never send a sext, I think It's a really important question. MediaSmarts has lots of great resources on sexting and that sort of thing. And I think the biggest harm is in the sharing. And that's certainly what I share with young people when I talk to them about sharing intimate images. That as soon as you let it go, it's other people who share it that do a lot of harm. Okay, so let's move on to our quick quiz to see how we're doing. So the first question is, I will try to slow down, Diana. Thank you so much. The video will be shared after this. So, what's the most important thing when setting up a dating profile? 1, choose a good picture. 2, write a flirty bio. 3, read the privacy policy. Or 4, all of these. The answer is 3. A picture and bio definitely are important, but you need to check out what will happen to anything that you upload if you decide that you want to then delete it. If you break up with someone, you should 1, change your passwords and security questions. 2, back up your devices. 3, review your location settings. And 4, all of those. The answer is all of those. We share a lot of things with our partners, like our passwords and our devices. And when a relationship ends, we want to make sure that we're not sharing those anymore. If someone shared a naked or partly naked picture of you without your permission, 1, they've broken the law and a judge can have it taken down. 2, there's nothing you can do but ask them to take it down. 3, you can sue them to have it take it down. Or 4, you can make the website take it down. Yes. So those of you that put 1, in Canada, just a reminder, it is a crime to share intimate images without the explicit permission of the people in them, and a judge can order a website to take them down. All right. What if something goes wrong? Despite all of our best efforts, sometimes our private lives can go wrong online too. Here are some things that you can do to help get things under control. One of the first steps to deal with harassment is to block the sender. So on Facebook, if you block someone, they can't send you a new friend request. They can't see anything on your profile. They can't tag you, and they can't send you a message on that network. And this is true for almost all social media networks. That's what blocking means. So to block someone, you would go to Settings. Then you would pick blocking on the left of the menu. Then type the name of the person you want to block in block users. And once you've chosen the right person, you would click on block. So most other social networks and messaging apps also have some form of blocking, as I said. So on Instagram, for example, it would be the 3 dot. You would have the person's profile. You would click on 3 dots and it will give you the choice to block there. If someone is stalking or harassing you online, the law can help you there too. Harassment is when you contact someone in a way that makes them feel physically or psychologically unsafe, or makes them worry that someone they know might be unsafe. So before you block someone, make sure that you save the evidence of what they're doing. So if you don't want to see messages or texts in your inbox, you make a special folder or something for them. As well as keeping copies, if you can, you should also get screenshots of anything a harasser sends you. There's a website, the website takeascreenshot.org will give you detailed instructions on how to take screenshots on any device as well as OS. Beyond blocking somebody, you can also report what they're doing to the app or the website where it's happening. You can also record it to your internet or your phone provider. You can block their number or internet protocol address from contacting them. They'll allow you to do that. If you've blocked someone who's harassing you, be careful about accepting new friend requests because it's really easy for people to set up new accounts. And just like sexts, you can report harassment to the place where it's happening and also to the police or a justice of the peace. A lawyer can also help you get a peace bond that will keep the person from contacting you in any way. Peace bonds work a little bit differently in different provinces, so you want to get some sort of legal advice. Your local women's shelter is also a good source of information on how to deal with harassment. Okay, so we're almost coming to the end. And before we finish, I just want to review some of the new terms that we've learned in this session before we take any of your questions. So a browser is the app or program that lets your device visit web pages. Examples of browsers include Chrome, Firefox, and Safari. An extension is a little program that you add onto your browser that lets you do extra things. You have to give them permission to do that. Wi-Fi sends internet signals to your computer without any kind of wires or cables by using a wireless router that's connected to a cable internet. An OS is a program that lets your device run other programs, and malware are programs that make your device do things that you don't want them to do. Men's shelters as well, Ryan. Thank you for sharing that in the chat when we talked about getting support for harassment. I should have said men's shelters as well. All right. Why don't we? So I do have a post-workshop evaluation survey, and I realize we're coming to the end of time. So I'm going to put the survey up so that you can take a couple of minutes to do that, and then we'll take questions. And that way, if you have to leave, you can leave. So we just invite you. It's similar to the one that you did at the beginning of the workshop. And again, it just helps to evaluate and improve the Media Smarts workshops and digital media literacy programming in general. Your answers are completely anonymous. This survey is meant to evaluate the program and not you, the participants. And there are no right or wrong answers. And the survey link is also in the chat. Thank you, Tricia. Thanks, Renee. But we will stay on for questions. And Diana was asking about the recording and whether or not you'll get it by email. And my understanding is yes, you will. Trisha, if you can correct me if I'm wrong there.
Yeah, that's correct, Jennifer. So in about 24 hours, you'll get an email from Zoom with a link to the
Okay,
recording of the
great.
workshop.
Are there any other questions? If you're done the survey, I don't want to interrupt the survey. Trisha, did you want to take Diana's questions? Are there other workshops available to watch?
Yeah, absolutely. I will put a link in the chat to last week's workshop called Discover Online Safety. And then there is another session next week during Media Literacy Week called Navigating Online Information. And I'll put a link to register for that workshop as well. Chat.
Awesome. Thank you. Thanks for asking, Diana.
Okay, well, if there aren't any more questions, and if there are, please feel free to put them in the chat, and you can also email us. I'm going to put our email address in the chat in case you have other questions. And yes, Diana's asking if you can't attend next week, but you would like to watch the recording, please do sign up for the workshop anyways, and it'll get sent to you via email. Great. Okay, so I want to say thank you to Jennifer for that presentation. We hope today's workshop helped you feel more confident about building safer digital habits. You can find more resources and tips about cybersecurity at getcybersafe.ca. You can also follow them on social media for updates on other workshops and practical advice. And we also encourage you to check out Media Literacy Week. That is MediaSmarts' event. It's our 20th year. And there are lots of different activities and workshops available on our website, medialiteracyweek.ca, which I am going to put in the chat. And yes, please join us next week for the final session in our 3 workshop series. And thank you again for joining us today. Stay safe, stay secure, and have a great rest of your day.
Bye, everyone.